Hi, my name is David Svetkovsky, and together with Jum Lamont, our Development Programs Manager, and Justin Fay, our Graduate Program Manager, we wanted to help graduate managers formulate their graduate strategy. A graduate strategy that underpins your graduate program starts with your GVP, your graduate value proposition. And the key elements to any successful graduate value proposition is the A, the attraction, the R, the recruitment, and D, the development program. And we want to take you through these key three elements today. So let's begin with the attraction component of your strategy. And I guess the key to building your brand, your graduate brand, starts with your imaging and your messaging. What are you going to be telling these potential graduates about your program? What is the level of detail that you're going to use, be it on your website, social media, or any print material that you use, print collateral that you use? Second to that is your collateral. What kind of collateral do you need? Do you need, as I said, your website? Do you need a banner to take out to career fair? What do you need to have printed to take to market or to use in the digital environment? And finally, once you've got your collateral, what are the key channels that you're going to use to disperse your collateral? And some of the key channels that we have available to us are the job boards. So you have a selection of job boards, be it Grad Connection, Grad Australia, or even Career Hub to use. And then there's also the universities. How are you going to physically, in person, create a relationship and go out and attract the students, be it on campus or at the big meets, or targeting, your business targeting specific university or student events to promote your brand on campus. So they're the key components of what we call the A. I'll hand it over to Justin.
Yeah, with the recruitment process, underpinning a successful graduate recruitment process is making sure there's validity and reliability in your approach. What we mean by that, it ultimately needs to measure the key competencies that you've identified as predicting success in your organisation, both for graduates joining now, but also into the future as well. And whatever method that you use, it needs to be scalable. So this is volume recruitment, so it needs to be a process that can be targeted and tailored for the masses, basically. Typically, a graduate program might attract in excess of 100 applicants per role, so your process needs to be really scalable to work with the volume of applications that you'll hopefully receive. Around that piece, a need for appropriate tools and systems. So an applicant tracking system that works with volume recruitment, where you can build a workflow that's suitable for volume recruitment, but also thinking to the other stages that will follow. So online testing platforms, video interview platforms that you'll use to potentially shortlist candidates as you work through. Even thinking about venues and assessment centre, appropriate space for assessment centre, both internally and externally. Final piece to consider is the resource needed to manage a graduate campaign. So typically the window is around 6 weeks from the point of close to extending an offer, and we'd say that's a competitive time frame to be managing that process. So thinking really, how are you going to scale up your team, your operation to work with high volume to ensure candidates are progressing through the process at pace so that you're not losing top talent throughout. Developments.
Well, yes, as David mentioned, the third and final piece of this graduate value proposition is the development component. So it's really key, development, right across from day one when you actually go out to attraction with development, and making sure learning is really embedded in, I guess, the graduate's workflow from day one. So the first thing you really need to do is establish that learning value proposition and really articulate this clearly right from day one. And to do that, you really need to build out the journey and the flow and the timing of all the development throughout the journey for these graduates. So there's an important step there to make sure that each day is linked to each other. So it's not just a random day being thrown out there, but there is that link from induction right through to their final development workshop. So the next thing to really consider is the foundations of your program. So we're thinking about those customised modules that are being delivered. We're thinking about the rotations that your graduates are going through. We're thinking about mentors. We're thinking about buddies, any technical training your graduates may need to undertake throughout the program, making sure they have access to leaders and can hear from leaders and get their input on the journey. And obviously maybe thinking about innovation projects and things that you can incorporate into the program to really push your graduates, really get them thinking about how they can use these skills that you are building back in the workplace. The last thing I really want you to consider is a blended learning approach. We know graduates have grown up in the digital new age. We know that they love learning online, and it is an important component to consider. But thinking about what is appropriate to put online in those webinars, virtual classrooms, what kind of modules are actually appropriate to be run in that environment. And also that online learning and support platform. It's great to do all these face-to-face, but how can you follow this up and help embed these learnings back in the workplace? So making sure we get all the graduate managers on the same page as well, so that graduate manager training in there as well to make sure that everyone knows what the LVP is and what the journey looks like from day one. But when it comes to development, I think you need to make it clear, you need to make it relevant, and you really need to make it a priority. So development is key, and if we can embed that early on in their careers, they'll be able to take some ownership of that as well. So we've gone through both the attraction, the recruitment, and the development, which is key to your overall graduate value proposition. And we'd love to catch up with you to discuss both your graduate value proposition, any issues you have with your attraction, recruitment, or development, and create that LVP, that GVP, and we look forward to catching up with you.